The word Trinity is never explicitly mentioned in the Bible. So what are the biblical foundations for the doctrine of the Trinity? Let's start with the Old Testament. While the doctrine of the Trinity is more explicitly mentioned in the New Testament, there are indications of God's triune nature in the Old Testament. Passages such as Genesis 1:26, where God says, "Let us make man in our image," have been interpreted by many theologians as hints of the plurality within God. Additionally, the figurehead of the angel of the Lord, who appears to carry divine authority, which we see in Exodus 3 and Judges 6:11-24, is seen by some as Christophany, which is an early manifestation of the second person of the Trinity, which we know is Jesus Christ. In addition to Genesis 1:26 and the appearances of the angel of the Lord, several other Old Testament passages provide further glimpses of God's triune nature. We see this in Isaiah 6:8, when God was asking, "Whom shall I send, and who will go for us?" A plural reference that suggests a complex unity with God, within God. While this plural language does not explicitly define the Trinity, it hints at a multiplicity within God's oneness. Another significant passage is the threefold blessing that we see in Numbers 6:24-26, where Aaron is instructed to bless Israel in a manner that many scholars see as implicitly Trinitarian. As we know, the blessing goes, "The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you." The repetition of the Lord 3 times has been interpreted as a subtle foreshadowing of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit's roles in blessing, grace, and peace. Finally, the wisdom literature, particularly in the personification of wisdom in Proverbs 8, which many church theologians has referenced as an early anticipatory reference to Christ. Proverbs 8 describes wisdom as being with God from the beginning, participating in the creation process and rejoicing in the works of God, a depiction that aligns with the role attributed to Christ in the New Testament as the divine Logos, John 1:1-3. So, while the Old Testament does not present a fully developed Trinitarian doctrine, these passages contribute to a foundational understanding, setting the stage for the New Testament revelation of God as Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Through the glimpses, the Old Testament provides a theological framework that invites further exploration that is ultimately clarified in New Testament's revelation of the Trinity, very similarly as to how the Old Testament is basically a preview of the New Testament. God bless y'all.